time for another TBR video. This one's for August. I already know I'm not going to read all these books for two reasons. One, a bunch of birthdays this month. You know, my son's birthday and then my birthday and back to school. So I know a lot of times I'm taking up helping kids with their homework and getting readjusted to school. And I've also started writing again. So that was like three things. So the other day when I was at work, instead of reading, I'm like, oh, well, let me spend because I get to work early. I get to work like sometimes 2 or 3 hours early just to have like me time. So I got to work and I'm like, oh, I'll spend 1 hour writing my book and then I'll spend, you know, this other hour reading. I didn't read at all. And I really wanted to, but I was just like, itching. I'm like itching again to like write. So I've been writing again. And of course, you know, time, where does it go? Like I can only, as much as I would love to do all of it, I just can't. So, and I can't listen. I can listen to audiobooks when I edit my book, but when I'm writing, it has to be pure blasting music. That's it. Like the world around me cannot exist. It just has to be music. I can't listen to an audiobook when I'm writing my book. I just can't. So I already know I'm not going to read all of these books, but A for effort, right? We're going to start with all of my book clubs reads. So for my personal book club, Read with Sin's Workshop book club, we're reading A Feather So Black. You can join me on, you know, Instagram. You can join me on Storygraph, Fable, book clubs, Discord, whichever is your preferred server. And I always update every Wednesday, or Thursday morning if, you know, time gets away from me. But I am so far loving it. I'm already about a quarter in. I read about a quarter a week. First chat is going to be on the 12th of August. So, this week. Tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow. So, never too late to join in. I don't do it weekly, so you can always catch up if you really want to chat about this book. And if you've already read the book and you want to chat about it, I'm all ears, man. I love talking about books, clearly. Clearly. Alright, so for the Fantasy Fanatics book club that I host at my local Barnes & Noble, we are reading Blood Over Bright Haven. This is the copy that my brother from another mother, Jeff, got me. So, and along with reading it with the custom bookmarks that I did make for the book club. So, if you live in Fort Lauderdale, if the Fort Lauderdale bookstore is not too much of a commute for you, please join us as we read Blood Over Bright Haven. Now, speaking of my brother from another mother, his book club, the LFG book club, it is a queer book club. They are reading Education and Malice. This is my Fairy Lit exclusive edition. So I'm really excited that I have it. I had to go digging. I had to go look for it. I'm like, where's that book? Where's that book? I went digging for it. So here it is. I'm probably, depending on time, my goal is to immersive read this one, so I'm probably going to be doing the audio. I've been doing a lot of immersive reading lately, just because I have so many books, and some books I just like plain read, some books I just plain audiobook, but I really wanted to read this one, but so that time doesn't get away from me. Sometimes I read faster than my audiobooks, I've noticed. Like if I'm really into a book, my audiobooks, mind you, are at like 2.3, 2.5 speed, and I will be ahead of the book. But I feel like it also, especially for the book club books, immersive reading helps me retain, and mind you, I have a really fairly good memory. It helps me retain a lot more of the information that I can take notes of, because I'm not an annotator. I don't like annotating my books. I know some people do. I do not. So that way, when it comes to book club, it's like really ingrained in there, and I have a lot of things that I can discuss and pull from. So I'm probably going to do the immersive reading for this one. And then for my friend, my bestie, my work wife, Gina, her Kiss and Tell romance book club, we are reading For Whom the Bell Tolls. You're probably thinking, Cynthia, you don't read romance. Even not. I have been told that this is a book that I would like. So, I mean, she's basically, she works in hell. She's a secretary in hell. And you know what? I'm all here for that. 100% here for that. It's gonna be great. I'm kind of excited by that just concept. So, really excited to read this. This is the deluxe edition. You can probably still get it at like your local Books A Million or Barnes & Noble, if it's still available. Okay. Weekly reads next. Nerd Fam was gracious enough, yeah, I have a new Kindle, to get me or give me this advanced reader's copy of Umbra. I'm still getting used to this thing. Here we go. Because I've already started reading it. So I got a bonus from work, so I used it to get the Kindle colors off. You're all probably thinking, listen, if you work with Barnes & Noble, why didn't you get the Nook? And I will tell you why. Because you can't get a lot of the e-arcs and street teams that I get, they only go to a Kindle. So I used to have a Nook, and I used to try to read EPUBs. Sometimes it was like near impossible to get it onto the tablet, and I just didn't want to deal with that again. So I'm already about 42% through with this book. It's pretty good. I will say I'm a little confused about the timeline of events, but for the most part, I do like the characterization, and I do like the world building, so I am interested. But yes, that is my first 30-page / 10% read a day. Second one actually won the Book of the Month title on my website, and you know what? Lucky for me, the publisher had also sent me a copy of the book. Talk about my lucky stars. They sent me 2 arcs of this book. Did I read the arc that I got? No. I ended up just gifting it to my friend Gina, but they ended up sending me a final proof with this cute little sticker and everything, and I'm like, woo! Yay! Final proof. So, thank you again to the publisher for sending me this. This is going to be my next 30-page a day read. Alright. Now for my weekly reads. Oh wait, no. Pause on that. My kiddo reads. The books I read to my kids every night. So I do alternate between my son and my daughter. My son and we read together in the same room. So, my son's pick is Wings of Fire. This is the special edition of Lost Heir. So we are, because I literally fell asleep reading last night. Like, I just could not keep my eyes open. On page 56. And then my daughter has me going, depending on her mood, she's already clearly a mood reader. K-Pop Demon Hunters, the novelization. We still haven't finished this one. Because she really, when she saw that I had already bought her all the books, she's like, oh, princess books! And I'm like, okay, well, sweetheart. She's like, I want to read that one. I'm like, sweetheart, we can't read this one yet until we finish the first one. And so she was like gung-ho to finish the first one. She's turning 5 this year. So, the Princess Swap Book 2, Snow White and the Dragon, Sleeping Beauty and the 7 Dwarfs. So, I really love these covers. And they do come with straight edges, which is what caught my eye in the first place. And I'm like, these look cute. Now, for my weekly reads, I already started Her Sharp Embrace. This is the book. This is the book that I wanted to read. And I'm like, oh, I'll spend an hour reading it. I'm only on page 120. I only read during my lunch break, so I only read the 20 pages. Because earlier that day, I was so focused and fixated on writing my book. So, pardon me. Her Sharp Embrace. Alright, a familiar one, and I honestly don't know if I'm going to read it this month or not. I really don't know. Season of Storms. I feel like I'm still suffering like Witcher fatigue from the, Lady of the Lake and, the rest of them. I just look at it and I'm like, I'm really not in the mood to read you right now. This series put me in such a slump. Like, it really did put me in a slump. Which really sucks because I love the video games and I love The Last Wish and Sword of Destiny. Those two were so good. But I'm gonna at least take, this is just supposed to be like one story and it's a standalone. So it's, nothing to do with those books. It takes place before, I'm pretty sure. But I'm just like, reading fatigue for The Witcher. It sucks. So we'll see. We'll see, depending on if I catch up on all my other audiobooks, because I always have to have one audiobook going on, because I take the bus to work, I commute, and it's like an hour bus ride, so I always need to have an audiobook ready. So we'll see, because some of these are going to be audiobooks, and we'll see where, you know, if I finish all of my audiobooks, then I'll get to this one. If not, I'm just not feeling it, and that sucks so much. Next up we have Brigands and Breadknives. I actually had already pulled this one off of my library cart and put it on my nightstand. And I was gonna read this one before this, because that's the order in which it was on my library cart, except it got buried underneath all of my other, all my book club picks, that when I was like, what am I gonna read next? I just went to my library cart, picked the next book off of it, and I had started that, and then when I started gathering all my books, I'm like, oh shit. I was supposed to read you next, because I love Travis Baldree. I love this series so fucking much. So that's what I'm gonna read next after Her Sharp Embrace. Like, I'm committed. After that, The Dragon That Wakes with Thunder. I loved book 1, so I'm really excited, and this is my Fairy Loot exclusive. This is an ARC, A Whiff of Murder. I'm really hoping that this mystery is going to be way better than the last one I read, which was, what was it? It's About Time. That book put me into a reading slump. Like, oh, I ended up searching the catalog to be like, well, it's already out. It was an ARC that was sent to me by Kensington, and no, it wasn't sent to me before the book came out. Just want you to know that. It was sent to me the week the book came out. Like, Kensington sent me, like, a huge box, like, a huge box of, like, ARCs, and I was like, woo! So, there was no intention of reading it before the book came out. So, luckily, the book had come out. I checked my local library, like, Hoopla, to see if I could get an audiobook of it, because I was, oh my god. So, mind you, I love cozies. Like, every time people hear I love cozy mysteries, like, you love cozy mysteries? I'm like, yeah, actually, I do. I do love cozy mysteries. So I'm hoping this one's going to be a lot better than the last one. Why did I put that one here? That one doesn't belong there. Sorry, I stacked the books out of order. It's supposed to be A Theory of Dreaming, which I've already started. I started audiobooking this one, but I kind of feel like physically reading it, because as much as I like the audiobook, I do like the voice actors for it. I feel like there's something missing, and I really like the story, and I really liked A Study in Drowning a lot. So I think what I'm gonna do is see if I can get an audiobook copy of Her Sharp Embrace. I don't think I can. I think that's why I'm physically reading it strictly. Or finish that one as soon as possible, and then just kind of reread everything I've already listened to, because as much as I love it, I feel like I'm just missing something. Don't get me wrong, the audiobook production is really, really good, but I don't know. I feel like I'm missing some of that fantasy, you know, because they're fairy tales in here too. So I think this is one of those books I'm going to have to physically read. Maybe do an immersive reading. We shall see. But I really want to physically read this one. So we're going to pivot when it comes to that one, which might mess up with how I read some other books. The Night King's Court. This was an ARC sent to me from the publisher. Obviously, final proof, so the book was already out. This is definitely one I'm going to have to physically read. Not only that, but a lot of these drawings was beautiful. An Archive of Romance, and this is the signed edition. So this is part of the Study in Drowning series. And it's short enough. What's next? Whee! I put all of these in the wrong order. I wonder why. After that, A Fortune of Sand. My friend gave me this ARC to read. I don't think I got it before June 2nd, but we'll see. Fortune of Sand. So, This one does seem really, really interesting. Like, it does seem interesting. She does write a lot of historical fiction. When it comes to historical fiction, I'm sometimes kind of iffy, but I'm willing to give it a chance. That's what I love about arcs. They push me out of my comfort zone. It seems really interesting. You know, Detroit, 1927. It seems interesting, so I'm willing to give it a shot. I don't always like historical fiction, but when I do, like, I do. It's like a hit or miss for me. I either love it, or, you know, it's like, okay. You know, I don't usually hate them, but usually it's like, meh. Meh. And last but not least, Fortress of Ambrose by J.L. I love this series. I love this series more than her other series, honestly. In fact, I didn't, as much as I liked her other series, like her previous series, I didn't finish it. Wings of Ebony. Wings of Ebony was really, really good, but I wasn't invested enough to pick up the second book. However, I liked her writing enough that when I had the arc of the first book, I devoured it. And this publisher gave me, they gave me final proofs of all 3 books. So I reread book 1 before I read book 2, and then they sent me book 3, because they sent me books 1 and 2 when book 2 was coming out. So I reread book 1 before I read book 2. And then the ending. I'm really excited to read this one. I do think JL is a really good storyteller. I thought this series was just a little bit more, I was able to ground myself more in this series than I was in the previous one. So, I'm really excited to dive into it, honestly. So, should we count? Were you counting? I wasn't counting. Let's count. Oh, crap. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Ooh, 19. Look at me. I only did 19 books. Not 23 like last time. And I did read 15 books last month. So, I feel like I'm missing a book, though. I feel like I'm missing something. It'll come to me. It'll come to me. As long as I have all my book club picks, I'm solid there. So, 19 books. Will I do it? Will Cynthia succeed in reading 19 books this coming month? Stay tuned to find out. Sorry. I just wanted it to be weird. Okay. In any case, if you've read any of these books, let me know if you think I'm gonna like them, if you think I'm gonna hate them, based on, you know, what you know of me. And wish me luck, because I'm gonna need it. Kids are going back to school, I'm working full time, I'm starting to write again. So, let's see. Let's see if I've got it in me to read 19 books this month. Probably not. I think, honestly, realistically, it's going to be like 10. Lucky if I get to 15. Lucky if I get to 15. But we'll see. In any case, thank you all for tuning in. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with all your book with your friends. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. And as always, happy reading.